Deadly storms hit a number of Midwestern states, and this morning we have new video of a tornado forming just southwest of Chicago.
We've seen stuff flying through the air.
At least one person was killed near the town of Ottawa, Illinois. 2 others died south of St. Louis.
Just once the gust of wind and everything came in.
Here in central Indiana, we're still under a tornado watch as the storms cause damage and power outages. We have Weather Authority team coverage as Fox 59 Morning News at 6 starts right now.
From Indiana's #1 news source, this is Fox 59 Morning News.
And we are still looking at a very active radar this morning, and depending on where you are, you may be waking up to some damage as well. Good Wednesday morning. I'm Scott Jones.
And I'm Lindy Thaxton. There are some watches and some warnings we need to tell you about, so Weather Authority Jim O'Brien is standing by with details on that. Good morning, Jim.
Hey, Lindy and Scott. Yeah, definitely a busy night here across central Indiana and certainly across the Midwest. Reports of tornadoes touching down in southwestern Indiana, even up through areas like Fort Wayne had reports of strong wind gusts. We had our own wind gusts, and it's still ongoing. Now, if you're watching from Indy at this hour or north and west of Indy, things are settling down in the terms of severe weather. But we're down to 53 now, and it will be a much colder afternoon, down into the mid-40s as we head into about 4 o'clock this afternoon. We'll have spotty showers around. Again, wind gusts up to 35 miles per hour this afternoon. The worst of the severe weather will be ending within the hour here, we think, across the entire state of Indiana. We'll have much more again in our forecast that includes some snow chances in that 7-day coming up in a few minutes. Let's get an update in traffic right now with Britt.
All right, Jim, thank you. 6:02, and yeah, a wet drive this morning. Allow yourself a few extra minutes and watch out for some standing puddles of water as well. We can see on our in-dot camera right here at the North Split, we're seeing a little bit more volume, but still no delays to tell you about. Looks like we just had a new crash pop up on the west side. I'll tell you exactly where that is in just a few moments, or you can check our Traffic Authority Twitter account directions. Still not seeing any major delays on the south side though. Lindy?
Thank you, Britt. We know at least 3 people are dead after a line of reported tornadoes ripped through parts of the Midwest in the early hours of this morning. This is a look at the damage in Missouri, where 2 people died. 1 person was killed when a tornado crossed over a busy interstate. In Illinois, crews say a man was hit and killed by a falling tree. There have been at least 20 reports of tornadoes, but no official confirmation yet from the National Weather Service.
And video is starting to come in from across the Hoosier State. We have some images from Fort Branch, which is north of Evansville in the southwestern part of our state. Authorities telling us 2 people were injured during the storms there. And they are expected to be okay, though. They were hit with a strong line of storms just before midnight. Authorities telling Fox 59 storms destroyed as many as 10 mobile homes at a mobile home park, and more than a dozen other homes got some damage. Our own Kyle Inskeep is in that area. We'll have more from his updates coming out throughout the morning.
And more damage in southern Gibson County. This is just north of Poseyville. We're told there are a lot of down power lines, even a building collapse, possibly quite a bit of damage there. Of course, crews will get a much better idea of what was hit once it gets light outside. Stay with Fox 59 for the very latest on that. And that severe weather system is moving through central Indiana and is causing quite a few problems.
Yeah, so we have team coverage of the weather. We start with Jillian Deem, who is on her way to Boone County to show some of the damage there. Jillian?
And Scott and Lindy, here in Boone County, we are just at a stoplight right now getting ready to turn onto State Road 39. We came up to this area because we were told there were some trees down in the area, specifically around Elm Swamp Road and Anderson. We were just in that area. We actually didn't see any trees there. So if you're watching right now and you're in Boone County and you see damage in your area, let us know. We'll come by and check it out. But we are right here just off of Anderson Lane and State Road 39, about to turn here when this light turns green. And we've been seeing what a lot of people will see when you head out the door, at least in this area, just a lot of rain, a lot of wind, and certainly flashes of lightning. Other than that, we have not seen a lot of trees or anything in this area, but we are looking for those spots. So as always, let us know if there's a specific spot you would like us to check out. We're continuing to drive here around Boone County. I know earlier we showed you guys the Carmel area. We're going to be all over the place, letting you guys know what to expect as you wake up here. Just a heads up, you can expect to see this rain no matter where you're at We'll send it back to you guys.
All right, Jillian, thank you. And take a look at some of the destruction up in Carmel. The fire department there tweeting out this photo of a tree crushing a home on Audubon Drive. We do know that nobody was injured when that tree fell.
And here's a look at hard-hit areas dealing with power outages. Duke Energy is seeing more than 8,000 people without power right now, 1,600 of those in the Indianapolis area. IPL is reporting just under 1,000 customers in the dark at this hour. And Duke Energy's Lou Middleton joins us now on the phone to talk about the issues they are facing right now. And Lou, we just said more than 8,000 outages. Is that still the case at this moment?
You know, Lindy, you can add about 3,000 to that number. We're at about 11,500 customers throughout our service territory. The hardest hit areas are, as you might imagine, Boone and Hamilton counties, and then three counties in particular in southern Indiana, Jackson County, Orange County, and Posey County.
Now, obviously, people can't be watching us on the show right now, but they can be streaming us live on their cell phones. So what is your message for the people watching? What do they need to do if their power is out?
Well, if the power is out, then the first thing they need to do is to call us and let us know that the power is out, just to make sure that we have a record of that and that we know everybody who does have the power out. And then would simply ask you to wait and be patient, because as you mentioned earlier, and I'm glad that you did, that we do need to wait for daylight until our crews can get out and assess the damage. And then once we know the extent of the damage, then we can arrange for crews and equipment to go to those locations and get the repairs done as quickly and as safely as possible.
What is the scene with Duke right now? Are all your crews just getting ready to head out once we have daylight, or are people already out and about now?
You know, in some areas where it's been safe to be out right now, crews have been able to restore some customers to service. And it just kind of depends on the nature of the damage. If there's maybe a couple of spans of wire that are down and can be reconnected pretty easily, then they'll do that. But if the damage is more extensive than that, maybe more wires, poles broken, then it's going to take longer to get those repairs finished.
Well, Lou, we know you are busy, and we thank you so much for your time this morning.
Okay, you're welcome.
We'll bring you the latest on the outages across central Indiana throughout this entire morning.
Of course, Fox 59 is your weather authority. Keep it right here for the very latest as we face a rough day ahead. Download the Weather Authority app to your phone so you can always get the alerts and, of course, Live Guardian radar. You know, the Subway slogan is eat fresh, but what are you really eating?
It tastes like chicken, but is it? Why researchers say the poultry used at Subway is less than 50% actual meat.
Huh. But first, an update to a story I told you about yesterday. What Congressman Andre Carson is saying about the series of threats targeting the Jewish community.
And as we mentioned, the warnings continue down south and east of Indy at this hour. Counties like Bartholomew, Decatur, Rush, Shelby, you guys are still underneath that warning until 6:15. About 78,000 people being impacted in that area with that active warning. We'll have much more on today's weather coming up in a few minutes. Rain and thunderstorms in the area. That cold front still a couple of hours away. Once that front moves on through, it will become much colder here later on today, and especially for tonight. Snow chances are back in the forecast tomorrow night. We'll talk more about it here in a couple of minutes.
Right now, 6:12, another suspected attack on the Jewish community just this week.
This time right here in Indiana. Investigators in Evansville are looking through surveillance tapes after a rabbi says he discovered a bullet hole in a classroom window. He believes someone fired into the building on Sunday. FBI officials say this will probably be ruled a hate crime.
It's a wake-up call that we need to do a better job of educating people, and we need to provide more opportunities for all of us of all faiths to get together in this community. So if somebody's doing this, they haven't taken the time to get to know us.
And there's been a major uptick in suspected anti-Semitic incidents nationwide this year. That's why Congressman Andre Carson met with members of the Indianapolis Jewish community in Washington. On Monday, the Indianapolis Jewish Community Center was shut down while police investigated a bomb threat. It was one of more than a dozen threats across the country that day. All of them were not credible. Carson tells Fox 59 Congress is standing behind the Jewish community.
It is our duty as fellow citizens to stand in solidarity with the Jewish community in condemning these acts.
No bombs were found in Indianapolis and no one was hurt.
Time right now, 6:13, a bill targeting hate crimes in Indiana failing at the State House yet again. This means Indiana remains one of just 5 states without such a law. The measure would have allowed judges to impose tougher sentences for crimes motivated by race, religion, sexual orientation, and others. Opponents are saying hate crime laws actually create special protected classes that treat victims of similar crimes differently. Well, 12 people are hurt when a vehicle runs into a high school marching band during a Fat Tuesday parade. This happened yesterday in Alabama. Officers saying the car involved was part of the parade as well. 3 of the victims are in critical condition. The driver is a 73-year-old man, and police believe it was an accident.
A Fox 59 consumer alert. If you were planning on going to Subway for lunch, you might want to hear this first. It turns out the chicken at Subway isn't exactly real chicken. A new study in Canada shows some of the chicken subs contain less than 50% chicken. Researchers say about 54% was chicken DNA, while the rest was soy used either for seasoning or filler.
Well, so you're at least getting 50% chicken. That's
Yeah,
better than 0 chicken.
Yeah, it's better than 40%.
Soy's good for you too, isn't it?
In some ways, yeah.
I don't really know.
We should probably just go to Brit.
Let's do that.
Let's do that. And we'll stop talking about soy and talk about the rain.
all the things you can say
happening.
about soy, though, right? But yeah,
Right.
we want to talk about traffic right now. You've got a wet drive ahead of you this morning as you're leaving at 6:15. We do have a couple of crashes out there. I'll point out in just a moment. Rockville Road at High School Road, seeing a little bit of slowing in those westbound lanes. I-70 at Holt Road, traffic picking up there too. We've got some road spray out there. Jim and Brittany standing by in the Weather Center. We've had all that rain in the overnight hours and even more on the way.
Yeah, it looks like it, Britt. We will have more rain off and on, mainly just drizzle, it looks like, for this afternoon as the temperatures really start to fall. Still a little busy off to the south and east, though. Wind gusts up to maybe 60 miles per hour. This is all heading out towards Cincinnati, but it's been a rough night across the Midwest. Reports of tornadoes touching down. Unfortunately, some lives were lost.
And we've seen over 20 reports of tornadoes. So far, we haven't had these confirmed, but the National Weather Service will definitely be out today.
50 degrees on Saturday. By Sunday, a temperature back up to 64.
Thank you, Jim. In just over 2 weeks, people all across central Indiana will be celebrating St. Patrick's Day.
But of course, they say you shouldn't celebrate too much. So on this Wellness Wednesday, we're going to reveal the dangers of drinking too much during the holiday.
And buy an old piece of furniture from a flea market, refinish it, then sell it. All week, we've been telling you about furniture flipping. Coming up in the 7 o'clock hour, Sherman gives us a look inside. Plus, you'll have a chance to win a piece of flipped furniture.
Welcome back. It is Wellness Wednesday here on Fox 59, and this morning we are talking about St. Patrick's Day. Sure, the day is all about the parade and the fun, but for a lot of people, it's also about the green beer. All of that alcohol could be very dangerous, so Dr. Ann Lewis is a clinical psychologist with the IU Health Care Center. Let's go ahead and talk about binge drinking for one. Even if it's just for one day, you can still consider it binge drinking, right?
That is correct, yes. And binge drinking is classified as 5 or more drinks for men and 4 more drinks for women in any given 2-hour time frame.
Let's go ahead and talk about some of the stats as well. Alcohol abuse and alcoholism, 276 drunk driving casualties just on St. Patrick's Day. This is 2009 to 2013. Also, 75% of drivers involved in St. Patrick's Day DUI crashes are 2 times over the legal limit. Do you find that it's just because they, imbibe so much at once because, this is our day, got to get it all in?
Yes, and the mentality of people going out during that day is simply just that. We're out, we're having fun, we're enjoying ourselves. This isn't that big of a deal. It only occurs once.
So what do? I mean, you try to set a limit? You just tell yourself, even though it's the big party day, I'm not going to drink as much?
Set a limit, also learn how to moderate it. So one of the techniques that I encourage people to use is if I'm going to have a drink, I either watch the clock for when I can have my next drink, or conversely, every other drink I'm having something that's non-alcoholic. This allows us to stay hydrated, but also paces us.
What about bringing friends into it? I mean, because you mentioned, hey, watch the clock, get others maybe to watch it for you.
Absolutely. I know sometimes at some places even bartenders will cut you off at a certain spot so that you can go in with a clear head and say simply, I want to stop drinking after 4 drinks. Can you let me know when I've reached that?
I was going to say, what about a backup plan? Just in case, you're going to be a little proactive in case, you know what, I'm going to fail at those first 2 or 3 ideas. Is there a backup plan you want to tell people about?
Absolutely. If you're going into it, again, I encourage everyone to go into it with the idea of really setting that limit. But if you go into it thinking that may not work for me, develop a backup plan in advance. Uber driver, taxi, designated driver that's a reliable source, a good friend. Also making a pact with friends that nobody leaves alone. There are a lot of risks associated with people drinking and making poor decisions. Allowing friends to know that in advance and then make an agreement.
I was going to say there's also, you know, different taxi companies and sometimes Uber that offer free rides. So people's excuse, you know what, I left my car there, I had to take it home. There's really no excuses, it seems, anymore today.
Absolutely, absolutely. A lot of college towns even will offer free bus passes. No questions asked.
All right. You going to go anywhere special? Just curious.
Probably at home, hanging out with the kids.
There's always that idea as well. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
We do appreciate all those ideas. By the way, I'll be on our website, fox59.com. Again, thanks for coming. All right, Lindy, over to you.
All right, there's much more ahead in the next half hour. We'll have more team coverage of the storm damage across the state, and rumors are swirling in connection to the murder of 2 teenage girls in Delphi. So we'll tell you how police are working to separate the fact from the fiction.
And we're seeing a lot of road spray on the interstate here, I-70 east of State Road 267, but traffic is moving okay there on the interstate. We'll take a full look at your commute coming up after the break.
Drive Cam brought to you by Crew Car Wash. Clean, fast, friendly.
Coverage. Deadly storms across the Midwest have moved into central Indiana as we take a look at Live Guardian radar and a live look at downtown Indianapolis. And depending on where you are, there is some significant damage this morning.
Yeah, still have some watches and warnings you have to know about. So Weather Authority Jim O'Brien is here. He has the details in his first check of the forecast. Jim.
Hey guys, yeah, it's been very busy in the overnight and even yesterday evening as we were dealing with severe weather across the Midwest, and still some ongoing warnings at this hour south and east of Indy, south and east of Rushville. This is it for the severe weather threat right here, and it's just about to make its way into Cincinnati and much colder conditions as well. We're at 54 here in downtown, and as we break down the forecast today, no 60s on the way. We'll be in the mid 40s by 4 o'clock this afternoon with wind gusts up to 35 miles per hour. So again, the severe threat ending at about 7 o'clock this morning. We'll talk about some snow chances in the 7-day coming up in a few minutes. Let's talk traffic right now with Britt.
Good morning, 6:31, and yeah, those roads still very wet out there, so take it just a little bit slower so hydroplaning doesn't become an issue. Now, I-70 here at Mithofer Road, we can see both directions of State Road 37, red and yellow indicating that slowing. Here's a look on the east side, heavier volume in those northbound lanes, 465 at Fall Creek Road.
All right, Britt, thank you. Video starting to come in from across the state. We have some images from Fort Branch, which is north of Evansville in Gibson County. Authorities telling us 2 people were injured during the storms there. They are expected to be okay, though. They were hit with a strong line of storms just before midnight. Authorities telling Fox 59 storms destroyed as many as 10 mobile homes at a mobile home park. More than a dozen other homes sustained damage.
And this is more damage in southern Gibson County. This is just north of Poseyville. We're told there are a lot of down power lines, even possibly a building collapse. Quite a bit of damage there.
So we sent our Kyle Inskeep down to Gibson County.
He's on his way. So Kyle, where are you at now in that drive and what are you seeing?
Yeah, Lindy, we are just outside of Washington, Indiana on I-69, so about an hour outside of the Fort Branch, Evansville area. So hopefully in our 7:30 hour, we'll be able to give you some live pictures of the damage and the destruction there right now. But let's talk about the live conditions that we are dealing with on I-69 right now. You guys may have just seen that flash of lightning. We're seeing that quite often out here on our drive this morning. We're also seeing a pretty significant and steady downpour of rain. It's slowing us down. We're seeing a lot of drivers out here on I-69 slowing down as well. We actually were just alerted on our iPhone that there was kind of traffic is at a standstill, and we believe that we're getting ready to approach that kind of traffic jam here on I-69 this morning. We're not exactly sure what's causing it, if it's a wreck or if it's just people going slower because of this rain that's coming down in this area. But we have seen reports on Twitter of people saying that they're seeing hail in their area. And because we're seeing these downpours all throughout the morning and also continuing from overnight, there is that possibility of flooding. We've seen some puddles on the sides of the roads here on the interstates, but nothing too significant to report in the when we're speaking about flooding. But if you guys are taking a live look at our drive cam, we are kind of hitting a traffic jam here on I-69 right now. Not sure what's causing it, but again, the rain is definitely forcing people here on the interstate to slow down this morning. So we're about an hour outside of the area in Evansville that saw that significant damage. So hopefully in our next hour, we'll be able to give you a live look at that damage. Back to you guys in the studio.
Kyle, thank you. And people here in central Indiana are showing us the damage left behind by the storm. Eve Powell snapped this picture in Brownsburg. That shows a trampoline leaning against her home. Be sure to log on to our Facebook fan page and upload your photos of the damage where you are. Show no surprise, the storms continue to affect travel and power across the state. Right now, we are getting some new information about the area just southeast of Bloomington. Joining us on the phone right now is Sergeant Stephen Wheels with the Indiana State Police. Sergeant, I know you keep track of that area around Jackson and Bartholomew County, as well as Versailles. What's the situation down there?
Well, as you know, we've had a strong line of storms come in throughout the night, and if you're like me, you've got little sleep due to the storm. A lot of what we're seeing is wind damage, trees down, and a widespread power outage. I know the Seymour area, quite a bit of the city of Seymour is without power this morning, and there's crews out working diligently to try to get that back up and running this morning, but it's certainly going to make the morning commute slow due to that situation.
Yeah, without a doubt. I'm just curious. I was just looking at our Fox 59 Facebook page. We have a lot of reports actually of hail damage. Have you seen any of that down in your neck of the woods?
I know we do. We did have quite a bit of hail come through. I know at least at my house I did have some hail. I haven't noticed damage and haven't heard reports of that. We're more dealing with the wind damage causing trees to be down, and then now we're dealing with water across some of the area roadways.
So speaking of those roadways, are there any major roads down there you're telling people to steer clear of, or is everything just slow going?
It's just slow going, mostly side roads. Some of those normal roads that normally get water covered, people are having to deal with those this morning. One major traffic issue in our area in Jackson County, southern Jackson County, we have a report of a jackknife semi on I-65 southbound. It'll be around the 36-mile marker. I believe all southbound lanes are closed, so we are dealing with that at this time. Otherwise, some of the roads, we just encourage people to watch out for trees, storm debris being across the roads, and that normal standing water that we normally see when storms come through. Just be cautious of that and leave yourself extra time this morning on your morning commute.
All right, Sergeant Wheels, we thank you for being here this morning. We do appreciate it.
Sure, thanks for having me.
Of course, stay with Fox 59 as we continue to monitor the storm all across the state. And on to some more news you need to know about. More than 2 weeks have passed and investigators are still searching for whoever killed Libby German and Abby Williams in Delphi. Well, now police are urging caution for those eager to offer help. They say rumors are swirling about an arrest, but state police confirm that is not the case. Now law enforcement is asking you not to jump to conclusions or name someone as a suspect without facts, because they say false accusations right now could irreparably damage someone's reputation.
I think that they want this solved just like everybody else does. I don't think they're doing it as malice or to get anybody in trouble. I just think sometimes it gets ahead of people. Police continue to ask anyone with any information to call the tip line, 844-459-5786. We have that on our website for you. The reward for information leading to an arrest is now up to more than $100,000. And the families of Libby and Abby are making plans for a memorial softball tournament to honor their lives. Both girls played softball. Money raised from the honorary tournament will be used to set up a scholarship fund for the Delphi Summer League. The tournament will take place in July. You can find all the details on our website. 6:37 now, and if you are holding out for the iPhone 8 this fall, you may not even recognize the smartphone.
Yeah, not little changes. Apple is totally revamping their flagship device, we're told. We're going to tell you what they're dropping and also what they will be adding next. And could robots be the answer in helping older adults? We'll tell you how they are comforting the elderly.
And your wake-up forecast still tracking some rain in and around central Indiana. The severe threat beginning to wind down, thankfully, but temps will be falling a bit later on this afternoon. Already falling here in the city. Much colder air on the way. A taste of winter as we enter the first couple days of March. We'll talk more about it here in a couple of minutes.
Thanks, Jim. And Fox 59 wants to wish you a happy birthday. Today we celebrate with Jason Carter. And Jason, Sherry says happy birthday to my best friend and husband. Where's her picture?
I don't know. Normally we get a picture. What's that?
Huh?
Deep fry?
Okay, we will be sure and show it. We're fixing it.
And then we'll put back in time and somehow get it on air. Hey, you want to send a birthday wish? All you have to do is send the message and the picture to fox59.com/happy birthday. Yeah, I believe they did send it. We just didn't get it. Something like that. Anyway, be sure to post the picture, the name, the date of their special day. We'll try to get it on air.
The forecast today, again, the severe weather threat winding down in southeastern Indiana. Looks like Ohio and Kentucky will be dealing with more heavy rain and thunderstorms over the next couple of hours. We'll have much more on the temperatures. Yeah, it's going to get much colder throughout this afternoon. Strong wind gusts as well, and chances of snow in the 7-day. We'll break it down in a couple of minutes.
Thank you, Jim. The iPhone turns 10 this year, and Apple is celebrating the milestone with a whole new look.
Rumors have been circulating about what the next iPhone will look like. And according to the Wall Street Journal, one of those changes is a curved screen. The design could look kind of similar to Samsung's signature phones with a large display that kind of spills over the edges of the phone. Other reported changes include a switch to wireless charging and the removal of the home button. The new iPhone is due out later on this year. Here's a question. Did Amazon break the internet yesterday? If you were trying to visit some of your favorite websites, you were probably frustrated. Amazon Web Services experienced intermittent outages. That affected a number of popular websites and web services and some clients that use Amazon's cloud services. Well, late yesterday afternoon, the company said the issue was resolved. Though some services were still slow, they say, to come back online.
Well, can technology give companionship to older adults? Scientists are working to find out. Researchers at the University of Texas Arlington Research Institute are studying robots that recite Shakespeare. They're calling it participatory art. Researchers say this type of interaction can sharpen the minds and spirits of older adults, especially those who live in senior living facilities.
We want the older adult to actually feel engaged in an art form. And we are very hopeful that the same positive results that happened with the human-human model will happen with the human-robot model.
Researchers say in 2 weeks they'll conduct more trials and gather more data to see how it's working. Well, Fox 59 wants to wish you a happy birthday again. There we go, after our glitch. Happy birthday, Jason Carter. Sherry says happy birthday to my best friend and husband.
Getting a twofer there.
Yeah.
One with the picture, one without.
And let's celebrate with some great videos.
Yeah, not just any videos. No, not at all. But videos you gotta see. You gotta see them to believe them. You know, if you had a set of shiny new teeth, you would probably smile a lot too. Well, that's exactly what happened to this dog who dug up somebody's old dentures. What? Yeah, that's not his teeth. This is Pandora. Her owner says the rescue pup was digging in the dirt in the backyard when she found the teeth. And this is how Pandora was found, with their teeth firmly in her mouth and a big old grin on her face. Don't these look good on me?
Oh my God. Why were they buried in the backyard?
I don't know. You don't want to bury them in the front yard. That's pretty obvious.
No, you got to do it in the back.
Yeah. Hey, speaking of our furry friends, for anyone who is a light sleeper, you will definitely be jealous of this next dog.
Because he's not waking up for anything. Check it out. Guess that's what they mean by the phrase dog tired. The pooch falls completely off the sofa onto the floor, still snoring, doesn't miss a beat. The sofa cushions fall on him, and he doesn't move an inch. You know, I actually really like their house, too.
That is a nice house, yeah, too. You would notice that. That's good.
Well, whether you like it or not, you can't deny the Titanic is an iconic film, right? People love quoting the movie.
Never seen it.
What?
Never seen it. Oh, I know what happens. I don't want to see
No,
it.
that's
Plus,
true.
it's depressing.
I'm surprised.
Yeah, it's negative.
That's
It's
the
a bad
reaction
ending.
I get when I say I have never seen Harry Potter.
Yeah, see, I did know that they had to like share that piece of wood or whatever. It's
yes.
like, couldn't you tried? I've seen that clip and I went,
they both
you
could've
didn't
fit.
really try. Anyway, you have to see the couple recreate one of the most memorable scenes from Titanic using a new Snapchat filter. Check it out.
I love you, Jack. No, don't say your goodbyes, Rose. Don't give up. Don't do it. So cold.
I mean, these Snapchat filters, oh, they're getting out of hand. Have you seen the filter yet?
Yeah.
It's called the pool filter. The couple used it and recited the lines from the drowning scene in Titanic. We just wish she could have changed it maybe up a little bit and made room for Jack on that makeshift raft.
Just like we were saying.
I know,
Yeah.
it's like, just tread a little bit and then you can both use it.
That's the best use of it I've seen. Someone, I can't remember who it was who snapped, I watched and they did it and they said, I'm now going to reflect. And that cracked me up.
Reflect?
Yeah,
That's good stuff.
Yeah, I got it, yep. Coming up, we have everything you need to know before you head out the door.
Britt will have another check of the roads, and Brittany and Jim will have a check of the forecast.
And new plans in Hamilton County for a trail that would go through 2 cities. We'll show you what it'll look like and why some people aren't too happy about the idea.
You know what? We're happy to see Ray Cortopassi because he's going to tell us what's coming up at 7.
Well, guys, good to see you. Well, of course, we're keeping up on the severe weather in Indiana. More coming your way at 7. A warning, though, about some new automatic car shifters that can be complicated and, yes, even dangerous. What you should do if you have a car with one of these shifters. We'll explain that all. And a mother is going viral after spending her whole tax refund check on a year's worth of rent. At 8 o'clock, Pete the Planner is going to be joining us with more innovative ways to spend your tax refund check. And kids grow fast, and spring's around the corner here. Talking clothes for them at 9. We're going to stretch your dollar, showing you how to shop like a pro and get the most bang out of your buck.
Ton of traffic issues so far this morning. We do have some pretty heavy volume out there, so we are starting to see some slowdowns, but we've got a new crash 9 at 96th Street. And Jim and Brittany, I know that there have been some wind gusts, and those are expected to last throughout the day, right?
Yeah, the wind settled down a little bit, but it's going to pick back up once the cold front gets in here. The front not through the state just yet. So we'll have falling temperatures and then wind gusts going back up to about 30, 35 miles per hour later on today. Now, the severe threat has ended, thankfully enough, Brittany, but boy, it was a rough day yesterday, especially in Illinois and Missouri.
Exactly. They had at least 2 tornadoes, over 20 reports of a tornado. You can see that track there from Missouri into southern Illinois. That's why they had several reports for that same cell.
Early Saturday morning. We'll go 64, though, by Sunday.
Thank you, Jim. Well, you could soon be paying more to help fund Indianapolis public schools. The district is considering asking voters to approve a property tax increase. The district has been dealing with financial troubles for several years now. Just last week, we told you IPS is considering closing some high schools because of low enrollment numbers. The district is expected to reveal more details on the potential referendum next month.
Here's an update to a story told you about yesterday morning. Hamilton County leaders releasing their plans to turn a rail line which runs through Fishers and Noblesville into a new trail. Officials releasing these renderings of what the trails might look like going through downtown Fishers and Noblesville. The railroad is best known for taking people from Hamilton County to the State Fair, but the train had to stop its operations because of safety concerns. So now city leaders say making it a trail similar to the Monon or the Cultural Trail is the best option. But some railroad enthusiasts say the tracks need to stay.
It's a little disappointing. One of the features that could possibly happen is that maybe the trail could run alongside the rail.
But in this core urban area where we have so much pedestrian traffic, where we have such a demand to connect our community for biking and walking, I think we got to look at the greater good for the community.
There are several opportunities scheduled for you to weigh in on. We have a list on those dates on our website, fox59.com. Just search for this story.
A Fox 59 update now. A drug treatment center designed for moms gets the go-ahead in Winchester. Last night, the Randolph County Board of Zoning Appeals approved a request for a special variance on the property. This gives the city the go-ahead to buy the building from the Compass Church. The plan is to renovate it into an inpatient facility for women battling drug addiction. Each mother would be able to bring 2 children to the facility with her.
Well, the Jesus statue at a Southside church is now back in one piece. The Cottage Avenue Pentecostal Fellowship says somebody brought back the statue's head over the weekend. It was knocked off twice in 2 weeks, and the second time somebody took off with it. When it was returned, it was in good enough condition, they say, to repair and then repaint the statue. Still no word on who is responsible for that vandalism. 6:57, much more news ahead in the next hour.
Ray and Angela are here to tell us what's coming up at 7. Hey, guys.
Hey, guys. Well, we're going to give you a look at all the storm damage around Indiana. And coming up at 7, we're getting also this, tips on a growing trend known as furniture flipping.
Yes, find out how you can make that extra cash or even become a home business.
Plus, we continue to track the rain and storms across Indiana. Team coverage live as we get a better look at the damage today.